quite the way we want it yet, but we've got a
What happened to
microphone.
my? Oh, yeah, right.
So we're getting there and
Oh,
working on it.
come on.
They didn't tape last night's genealogy meeting because the speaker didn't
Yeah,
want it.
the genealogy has begun taping their
Taping theirs
meetings,
too.
but they asked the speakers, do you
First.
mind if we record your meeting? And some of the speakers do this for income, and they didn't want,
Well, I was gonna be on our private site where nobody could see it but
but
us.
still,
I wanna see it.
Can't see it because they didn't tape it.
yeah, he asked that it not be recorded. So we're going to, let's open the Word document. Can you open the Word?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk from that to start with. And then we're going to show these things as we go along. And if anybody, how many people have a digital home assistant, such as an Alexa, Echo, or a Google Home or something?
Vic,
Vic, Doug, Richard,
couple.
couple? Okay. We'll see what you think about it. I copied
No.
a discussion here where someone threw out the question and said, I've just bought an Echo Dot for my 77-year-old father. He loves to play 50s and 60s music on it, and he's trying to come up with some other things that he can use. And different people are throwing out suggestions they thought would be appropriate. Like one of them says, my favorite uses for the Dot is to have Alexa turn on the electric blanket a half an hour before bedtime.
You had to say the word, didn't you?
Alexa's trying to find a blanket. that led to a discussion of what blanket responded to the being used in this fashion, but and then they mentioned the smart thermostat, such as the Nest or the I don't have some of the other names written here, but they cost $200 ish. Anybody have a smart thermostat at home, even if it doesn't talk to Alexa? If you plug in the right one and work it with, I'm gonna say Alexa just because my mouth is trained that way. And she'll kind of get, try to do these things, I suppose. Oh, I forgot where I was going with that.
If you have it
But-
hooked up to the right one, it'll turn the thermostat on?
It'll turn the thermostat and adjust it for you without you doing it any other way. Also, the classic radio skills, old time radio shows, you can ask her to play those from your, do you use it for that?
I've never tried it.
I know you like
Where does she get her information from? I mean,
a lot of it, like for spoken word and music and stuff, she's connected to some radio stations, TuneIn, Spotify.
Don't you have to have a Spotify account?
You know, TuneIn you don't.
TuneIn, right. I use TuneIn for WJR and things.
Comment. Last month when we were experimenting setting it up, my wife was traveling from Baltimore to Cleveland, and I knew the flight number, and I
Oh, yeah.
asked Alexa. I don't know what I said. I said, flight so and so, where is it? And that's all I
think
said.
you want
And
me
it
to
said,
play some near. Flight on the Moon, right?
No, thank you.
no, it actually told me the status of the flight.
It did. It gave him an accurate
Told me it was 10 minutes late.
verbally. Now, he could have gone to his phone or laptop or tablet and typed in such a search, but these are things that are convenient to do just from sitting in your chair, walking around while you're cleaning your house or whatever. Then trivia games. They are suggesting a lot of trivia games. There's a Jeopardy. There's quiz games, memory games, Price is Right, Trivia of the Day, Word Chain, Question of the Day, Riddle of the Day, Song Quiz, which they describe as they play a clip of a song, and you have to guess the title. And if you also guess the artist, you get bonus points. It's broken into decades from the 60s to 2010. And he says, my mother, who's 71, loves it, and so does my niece, who's 10. It'll play bingo with you, and you can print off the bingo cards online, and then sit and play bingos.
It'll be the caller. That's kind of nice.
It'll call the numbers for you.
That's kind of nice.
And if we had time, we could look at some of the games perhaps at the end. It also suggests that if you can set reminders and say you have a doctor's appointment today or tomorrow, however far ahead you ask it, and it will remind you of the appointments. And I have mine linked to my Gmail calendar.
Alexa, what's on my calendar?
Here are the next 4 events. On Saturday, March 16th, at 7:30 a.m. there's Call Chris. At 8 a.m. there's Edelman. On Sunday, March 17th, at 6 a.m. there's blood donation. And at 6:30 a.m. there's Donor Express sign-up. Do you want to hear more?
No thanks.
Now I have the Google show here. You want to hold that up?
Oh, wait. You're going to show the show. When you
You're going to show the show. And it's just like these other Googles, except it has a screen.
Oh.
Yeah, hold it up a minute. And it will, as it rotates by with these various little clips saying, oh, this is in the news. If you want to know the whole story, ask for it, and so on. And it'll come across with a doctor's appointment tomorrow and remind me. And I kind of have gotten I
What's this one called?
find them very useful.
Computer?
This is the,
Having trouble connecting.
Oh, you
Keep trying.
didn't get this one connected?
yeah, isn't it? No, I thought I had.
Is that one on?
Computer, are you on the internet?
I'm having trouble connecting.
Yeah.
I'll keep trying.
Is it
But it's,
connected?
it's a surprise
So
it's
what is
even
something
doing
like
what it's
that one
doing.
run?
I got it on sale, of course, grabbed it. And this is a first generation. They're out with a second generation that does an even more. You can ask it to play videos.
What's it called?
This is a show.
Echo Show.
This is like,
It has more speakers in it, so it can be louder than the some of the other
So you
ones.
must not have it turned up very well.
does it sound better?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Is it on? It's-
Alexa, are you on? Computer, are you online? Computer, are you online?
It's got the temperature. Is that Google or Amazon?
This is Amazon.
Sorry, something went wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
Oh, are we losing our?
Too many
Let's try a
people
little
talking.
later.
This one's Amazon. Amazon, are you online?
No, that one's computer.
That's what I thought. It didn't answer me.
Computer.
Computer,
I
are you
have-
online?
If you start two Alexas and they interloop with each other, they eventually melt.
Computer, are you online? It's not liking me.
Computer, what's the temperature?
Yeah,
It's on the screen. But.
So it's there, 41.
Yeah, you talk to it.
Computer, what is the temperature?
It's 41.
I know, but
How come it's not responding? Is it muted? Why not calling me that? Huh. Let me see here. Mine's online. Alexa, play the Jack Benny show.
you
I
do.
couldn't find any enabled video skills that can play that.
Video?
Go to the Alexa app to manage your video skills and
She's not-
devices.
Okay.
Getting confused with this one, is she?
Well, that's Alexa.
Yeah, I know.
This one's Amazon. So
Right.
as
No,
long
this
as-
one's computer.
Well, okay. Yeah, Amazon's.
Sorry, something went wrong.
I'm having
I think it
trouble
fell off the
understanding
internet.
right now.
Well, your
Please
spot
try a
gone?
little later.
What are you holding the light bulb for?
Because I'm very bright.
You don't look very bright.
Because it's
still,
all connected to this big mass of wires, and if we leave it here, it's afraid it's going to
Yeah, it'll
fall
tip
off
over.
the screen. Right. That's why.
like that. We're using 2 hotspots that we checked out of the Amherst Public Library. You check them out free for a week, and we thought this would be a good way for us to get started at home, connecting to something, a hotspot that we could bring here and continue to use. Continues to work. Now, are the dots on mine?
Mine are. this, I can mute this one and talk to this one, 'cause mine are all,
Somebody who was doing YouTube showing how to do things on these, he called it Lady A, because he didn't want to keep activating your Alexa if you were watching it from a place
Okay.
that had. Alexa, what's the weather?
Currently, in Vermilion, it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Tonight, you can expect just a few
Is that
clouds in the
yours?
sky
That's mine.
with a
Yeah.
low
Yours
of
is
30
yours.
degrees.
I was going to say because it's Vermilion weather. So I'll continue through this list. He says, it works for caregivers too. If you've got a person, like an older person in your family, they get older than us. Who are they?
I know where they are when they get older than us.
They can help by setting up reminders and appointments for them. He says, my dad is amazed that he can say, Alexa, play artist name. For example, Johnny Cash. And then music starts playing Johnny Cash, and he's delighted, and he says he uses it all the time. So that is something I'll do. I know I'll hear somebody, well, anymore it seems like I'll hear somebody passed away in the world of entertainment. So I'll ask, Alexa, play one of the greatest hits of the dead person.
Play your release on Amazon Music.
There's probably a group named that.
The ungrateful dead.
And there,
Alexa, cancel.
sometimes I'll walk in the room and she's playing music and I'll say, what is this song? And she will stop and say, this is such and such song by so-and-so. So that's useful because I don't always recommend or use it. Now here's something that I don't do much of, but you can have it make lists. Do you use lists?
I haven't yet.
I haven't either. I want to explore that because you can say, it used to be you could just make a shopping list. And then it was that you could make another list, and now you can make all kinds of lists by just saying, and then you say, add such and such to my to-do list, my reminder list, my whatever you have. Movies I want to make sure I watch list or whatever. And then you see the results by looking on your phone. You have to set these up with either a smartphone or a tablet. I don't know, can you use a PC?
No, you can do limited functions with the Amazon desktop app, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's
so you
basically
really need to
worthless.
set these up with either a
Yeah.
smartphone or a tablet.
Right.
And then you would go to your
This,
tablet or
this
smartphone and look at your
icon
lists.
is the Amazon Alexa app. I've already got it running.
This
How
is
much does that app cost?
All right, and then we got, if you click on the devices, it brings you to this and shows your, you can look at your Alexa devices, you can look at your plugs, or you can look at all the devices. I created a plug called Test for today. You can control it through either voice or through the app. You can turn it on and off. Alexa, turn off Test.
Okay.
And it's off. The light bulb is off.
the light bulb over there is what he's controlling.
Oh.
It's over there by the door. It's
door?
yeah. And we don't have any high up plugs we could show, but I guess we could use your little thing. But oh well. Okay. I guess we
Yeah,
can-
you could. I have it set up in 2 lights in my living room, and I used to have to tell it one at a time, Alexa, turn on, and I named my light.
Sorry, I didn't find a device named iLights.
I named my.
You know, that would drive me nuts.
I learned my light. Linus. Because don't ask me why. Because of the peanuts. And then I named the other light Lucy, because they're in the peanuts. And then I got to remember what was the character.
Down, up, light up.
I don't know if that was such a good idea. But it's easy to change the name back and forth, but just make a note to yourself what you call the dumb things. And now I've got them connected so I can walk in the room and say, Lady A, lights on.
Oh, yeah, you do the skill.
And then
Okay, right. Or
they
the
all
group.
turn on.
The group, yeah.
Yeah, the group turns on. Oh,
Yeah.
we want to talk about groups. Someone else said, don't forget voice chat and calling. My 7-year-old mother loves that I call her and she can sit in her chair and not have to put her phone up to her ear. And I thought I would try to call my granddaughter here in a minute and see if we can.
That would be good, because if I call you, chances are it's one you left in your house.
Yeah, let me try it right now. Otherwise, I might have to call her. What am?
Yours is Amazon, right?
Well, I could try it on this one.
Oh, well, does that work?
Oh, is she online or not?
I don't know. Computer, are you online? It likes me now. It's not.
I'm not even answering you. Well, you know,
I am connected to the internet.
Okay, give it a try. Oh, wait, we should.
computer, call Lexi Diedrich. They are supposed to learn your voice.
Sorry, you have no numbers listed for Lexi
Oh,
Diedrich.
you know, I have her under favorite granddaughter or something. She changed her name. Lexi, computer, call a favorite granddaughter. I'm about to look up what she's called.
I heard you ask for favorite granddaughter, but I can't find that name in your list of contacts or devices.
I'll stop in a minute and look.
Yeah, fine.
How she's listed in your contacts is what happens.
So if it is listed in your contact in your cell phone, it automatically in there and
They don't have to have an Alexa either, do they?
No, I.
It'll call their cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to call a house phone.
Looks like that in the car.
Alexa, call Neil's cell.
I don't have Neil Higgins' cell number.
Really?
I'll call the mobile number.
What? Mobile.
Who's gonna call Neil's cell phone?
Is it ringing?
Yeah. Well,
I'm asking.
Hello?
So it works.
okay. Alexa, hang up.
Because I thought this would be good because when I leave my grandson at the house to run a quick errand, and I don't have a house phone. He doesn't have a cell phone. So I taught him how to use the Alexa if he has to call me while I'm in the car and running my errand. And he never needs to because he's so involved in his tablet game.
Would call 911 then.
I don't. Do they call 911?
No.
At first
Unless
they didn't.
you have an Echo connected, we'll call 911.
You also, in a lot of cases, have to sign up special for E911 services. When I got my new
which is a
phones,
monthly charge.
I got new phones. It was included, but it specifically I had to sign up if I wanted to use them for 911. My cell phones.
Now I'll use it because I'll go in the kitchen and put something on to boil or to cook for 10 minutes and go. As soon as I walk in the other room, it's out of my mind.
Well,
Is
this
that
is,
right?
this
And
is
whether
part-
I can hear the.
the 911
oven
side
one.
was part of the configuration of the phone. Didn't cost me anything extra.
Okay, good.
You know how I know that.
So they're working towards that. I think they know there's a need.
Yeah, well, one
But
of the
you
things it will do is if it automatically knows that it is a mobile, it will also use GPS services to physically find you.
Yeah, because that used to be the big problem.
Yeah.
So you can set it up. I'll set it up in the room I'm sitting in and say set timer for 10 minutes or set a reminder for alarm to go off at 5:15 or something like that. And it will. Well, now it does multiple reminders. So you can actually have it say turn off the stove at when the first alarm rings, and you can say call somebody when the second alarm rings, but you can actually put those words in the message. So it's become more and more useful. So you don't know what the alarm went off or what. Why is it ringing?
If you're in one room, let's say it's set up in the kitchen and you are upstairs or basement or whatever, do you have to have separate?
It doesn't, the alarms and reminders are only for that particular device, right? It doesn't, if you set an alarm or a reminder on a device, it will only play back
On
on
that
that device.
device.
So if you have it in multiple rooms, if you play music, if you have a speaker group set up for multiple echoes, and you tell it to play on that speaker group, it will play everywhere. But the alarms and reminders don't do that way. If you set an alarm in one room, it only will go off on that room.
I right now have 4 Alexas.
Oh, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So I have the one with the screen. I have the tall original one. I call the tall one. And 2 of the little dots.
But potentially you could set up some kind of time thing to call somebody too, couldn't you? So call so-and-so at a certain time.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'd have to explore that.
How much do them little things cost?
They've been
dots?
on sale recently for $20. The
Really?
little
These,
ones.
these are the second generation dots. The older, not the newest version.
Yes, there's first generation, second generation, third generation of the dots.
But
There's
if
a,
you want multiple, you have to have other rooms separate, kitchen separate.
To do what?
I don't know what you mean by separate. I mean, here's separate.
We have to have one in every room.
You have to have one in every
Depends
room.
Well,
on
they
what you
hear
want to
it
do
real.
with
It
them.
depends on what you want to do. It
I
might
put 'em
not
in
hear you
different rooms,
talk.
so when I play my radio stations, I go walk around the house and
So
still
you
hear.
have more than one.
Oh, I have.
Okay.
I have 3.
But I went a long time with just one. It was central in my living room,
Oh.
and I only have a 1-floor house.
Do this, very important thing, I want to do this, all the talking we do that's in the house, family members are talking with each other. Do this computer inside, just store all the information?
Yeah, it stores it, and then sends people to your house at night, and they come in and rob it. No.
He's,
No.
you're going to make people nervous.
No, the reason I asked,
It's listening. It listens for a couple seconds continuously, and it's
Waiting
listening
for the
that
word.
wake word.
Well, wake word,
In my
which is
case, it's
Alexa.
It's Alexa on that one. It's Amazon on that one. It's computer on that one. So, it's,
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
if you were real nervous, you might,
Speak English, Mickey.
wait a minute, I don't follow you, does it,
it's listening for the wake word.
Well, what she wants to know is if there's a people like us talking, does it
doesn't
store
store
that
it.
talk?
it doesn't record what you're
It doesn't
saying.
record the
It only
talk.
records after it hears the wake word.
wake word?
You know,
Wake
like
word.
Alexa,
Right.
Oh, I see.
Sammy, or whatever you
No,
name
the
it.
reason I asked is there was in the TV, there was
Yeah. How often do you hear
crime
about that?
show,
Right.
and they
right.
solved it by going into it and who killed
That was
it,
only
they were
because
talking.
they recorded that particular session after the wake word.
I don't know how they did it, but they found whoever was murdered in the house by who was so and so by listening through their inside the machine. That's how they solved it.
Well, if you didn't,
So that's what
if you
I
don't kill
wondered.
anybody, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're concerned about that kind of stuff, then just stay off the internet
Well,
or
I
whatever.
don't have plans to murder anybody.
Glad to hear. But you makes you worry.
It,
yeah, we all have a short list of those kind of
Well, I think Kitty won't care if I tell her. She was telling me she was in the house alone, and she was talking to the cat. She just got home from work, and she's going, "Oh, how you miss me?" Cat talk. How you doing? You want to be scratched? And then she was by the Alexa, and she said, "Tell me a joke." And it told her a cat joke, and it freaked her out. And I said, "Well, I bet most of their jokes are cat jokes." I said you would have to do a scientific study, and you'd have to talk about a certain subject and then ask for a joke.
I mean, there's been some times when a word that sounds like the wake word,
Yes.
comes out on the radio, or and then she says, she'll wake up.
Yeah.
I've got mine set up that it responds. It's got the prompt after the wake word, so if I go blah blah blah, it will ding, and I know it's ready for the command. So I go, Alexa, I didn't do it. Oh, these are the new ones. I didn't set them up
Sorry,
yet.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, this is, let's see here. Is this the old one? Here's my old one. Come on. I mean, Alexa?
And Mickey, is there an app to
Good day.
train them to understand your
Good
accent?
night. Sweet dreams.
You try. Try telling, do something.
And no, my friend has it, and we have the same accent,
Right.
and we tell her to play a
You can go in.
song, you know, from a, Hindi song. And she said, sorry, I didn't understand, but it's not available through your app store or.
Well, that's a different story.
I know, but the accent, they won't understand, and they play some.
You can
That's what I'm
train it.
saying. Try-
You
try.
can train it to hear you. You'll have it read. They'll have you read something, and they'll know what you're reading, and then it starts to hear your accent. It also will. You can set up voice profiles nowadays. So if you have two people in the house, let's say, and you set up the voice profiles, it'll know when it hears your voice, your preferences.
Right. If you say play my music,
And so
Sandy
on.
says play my music, it knows the difference.
It knows that one's a male, in this case, a male voice or a female voice, and it will play what you've set it up to do.
I
So
was thinking of buying it, that's the reason I didn't buy, because they wouldn't understand my accent.
Tell us to turn off the light.
Pardon me?
All right, tell us to turn on test.
what's it? Is it Alexa?
Mhm.
Say Alexa, turn. What he said.
Say, Alexa, play Bollywood songs.
Didn't hear you.
Oh.
Come on up.
Is it Alexa?
Yeah.
Hey, Alexa, play Hindi songs.
Oh, you have to wait till it comes on.
No, you don't have to wait. but
You don't. You're quiet.
Talking loud enough. Come up here.
Oh. I don't want to bore anybody with my music, but
Well,
if
you
it's
can
going to
cancel it.
play,
Well, they might have a similar
and even if they
question.
play like songs which are like 50 years old.
Well,
That's
we
another
can't help
issue.
with the
No, but
eclectic
accent.
songs you sound. But
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Just tell it to turn. Oh, wait, it's over there. Tell it to turn off. Turn on test.
Turn on text.
Test.
Turn on test.
Yeah. So tell it.
Say Alexa.
Say the word.
Alexa, play Hindi songs.
I couldn't find any Hindi songs.
But it
Well,
understood
that's
you. It
the
understood you though. See, that's
it
the thing.
understood what you wanted.
It's-
It just didn't have the songs in its.
Yeah,
You keep stepping on
even
the
if you
cable.
specify it, like
Don't-
my friend, she specifies the songs, name the song,
Okay.
it still didn't understand.
Well, it did understand you. It understood
Well,
Hindi
I
songs.
didn't name any songs
Well,
because I didn't want to
Well, that's why.
confuse the.
Yeah, because that's two different questions. Is it
Right.
understand what you're saying clearly, or it doesn't have that kind of music in its catalog? Because if you pay extra, you can get Amazon
Music
full
Unlimited.
music,
Music Unlimited.
Music Unlimited, and I don't pay for that, but I do have Amazon Prime, so I get Amazon Prime Music. And do you get
Sorry, I'm having
any
trouble
Amazon Music
understanding
as a
that.
non-member?
Please try it again.
I get previews.
Previews?
Yeah, I don't get the full song.
So if you ask it to play White Christmas, what does it do?
Alexa, play White Christmas.
Here's a sample of White
It's
Christmas
not
by
sample.
Bing Crosby.
Because I can't.
But if he's a subscriber to
On
Spotify or
Amazon Music.
Pandora
Alexa, cancel.
or so on, he has
Yeah.
more music options. Now, I get more music options because I have Amazon Prime, but I don't have Amazon
Full music.
Full Music, which costs
Sorry,
$10 a
I'm
month.
having trouble understanding
If
that.
you want it on one device,
Please
it
try
costs
it.
$4.
That's right. And that, what a
But
shortcoming.
yeah, but if you want it on multiple devices, I think it's $8 a month.
Can you attach it to Sirius?
Serious.
I don't think so.
XM. You like the-
I'd have to research that. I'd have to research that. Now, I have access to TuneIn. Do you have TuneIn?
Yeah.
Okay,
Alexa, play-
TuneIn comes
Alexa,
with,
play WJR.
TuneIn gives you radio stations.
Listen.
760 station from iHeartRadio.
Oh, I heard. I'm sorry. Alexa, cancel. Okay. It also goes iHeart for free. Alexa, cancel.
But it'll play radio stations that you know, even local ones. If you got to learn its call number and whether it's with iHeart or is it with
It does,
radio.com.
as long as you've enabled iHeart and what's the other one? TuneIn skills, it doesn't matter. It'll find it.
The one I mentioned when we did the cable TV, let me see if I can get her to do it. I have a lot of confidence. Computer, play MSNBC on TuneIn.
You actually have to tell it.
MSNBC from Sandra's TuneIn.
And what it should play is
The audio portion.
the audio portion of what's on TV at this
The
moment.
president. Well, today Republicans seized on Pelosi's remarks, saying it's a sign she's lost control of her party. So she's doing bad now. Let's watch this taste of argument.
Computer, stop music.
But you shouldn't have to tell it to play it on TuneIn.
I know. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Because the
It'll-
other day
it'll
she
know, as long as you
another
enable
day
the
I didn't
skill.
want to respond to play MSNBC until I
really?
said play TuneIn, and they said, "What do you want to hear on TuneIn?" And then I said MSNBC.
Sorry, I'm having
But there's a
trouble
number of radio
understanding
stations.
now.
Some of the TV you can get sports too. Since
stepping on
I keep stepping on wires, it'll play different sports channels as well. If I guess it's a play-by-play of the game, or
I wouldn't know. I don't do sports.
neither of us do sports.
What's the difference between Google and Alexa?
They have to be connected to wireless.
You know, I have
They
the
have to be connected to a computer.
This is the
As long as you've got a smartphone, it's order.
this is the Google show, and it's at my daughter's house, and I had to use her phone, take her phone off of her network, put her phone on the hotspot, and then change this from her home network to the hotspot, and I gave up. I mean, she got it all connected initially, fine, but to do that change half hour before I had to be here was overload. But from what I understand, other than the screen being smaller than this, other than the screen being smaller, has less speakers, and so on. It's supposed to answer questions better because it comes from Google, but I don't really have problems with
Oh, that's.
Amazon's answers. It's supposed to recognize your voice more easily on the Google, I believe I read. But the thing is, these devices are constantly being updated. They don't even tell you, oh, I'm updating you. It just happens. And so they're constantly improving. And things that were a bother before have changed. Yes?
Could you remind me again what that hotspot is getting, where is it getting the internet?
From cell.
From cell phone connections in the air.
Like data?
Yeah, it's actually connected to Sprint, this one.
Okay, but it's like using the data on.
You
your
sure?
No. Yeah, it
I
says
thought it was
Sprint on it.
Verizon. Okay.
It says Sprint when you first
Yeah,
turn it
that's
on.
right. It does.
It works on the Sprint network. These that came from Amherst Library. It doesn't cost me anything. Doesn't use my data.
Does it cost Amherst Library?
They must have a deal.
Okay, thank you.
You know, like their internet provider. They get special deals for their internet in libraries, and I could find somebody at some point to ask how that kind of thing works in the background. But it's kind of cool.
It doesn't matter.
The hotspot.
It's just that it's free.
Because LCC.
We check them out for a week. So my daughter said, well, what's the overdue fee if we're on vacation for 2 weeks?
Probably big.
I bet it's $1 a day.
I would think it would be more than that.
When I return it, I'm going to ask him.
Yeah.
$10 a month? Well, that's not bad.
Easy. That's easy. I'd pay that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I have a feeling it'd be.
Except I can
$10
see
a
taking
day.
this on vacation and losing it, right?
You have it directly, you don't have to do the library. He pays $10 a month.
What is it,
For a hotspot.
what does it connect to though?
So.
The cell
Just like your phone.
wires.
It's your,
Cell.
it's your phone without the calling feature.
Not my little flip phone.
Yes, it is. It's your
No, I
phone
mean, it
without
doesn't
the-
use your phone. It uses phone connectivity that's out there in the Ethernet.
I have,
Does it
I
have
have
batteries that charge?
T-Mobile.
Yeah, it charges.
I have T-Mobile. One of the options I have on my phone is I can use it as a wireless hotspot.
Yes, many cell phones today can be used as a
Yeah.
wireless, and then it does draw on your data if you have limited data.
Right. And with the plan I have, I only have 3 gig of data, but I don't.
need to continue.
bottom line, I'm cheap and I find free Wi-Fi and when I need to download stuff.
There's also a skill that sounded nice. It says if you have someone in your family with dementia,
Settings I cheat.
it's my life story skill, and you set it up to relive some of the person's happiest memories, and then they enjoy listening to it over and over again. And it's easy for them to prompt. It can be set to calming music, and they use it for working with people with memory problems. There's also smart cameras where you can, it'll work with the camera at your door, front door. You can talk to the person and things like that. Would be cool. Let me see if I can have it work this. Computer, where is my phone?
There's a skill for that. Let's try it. I'm going to call the phone now, so listen out. If it doesn't ring, it's because I can't connect or it's on silent.
Actually, that was somebody else. But what it will do is we'll dial my phone. So if my phone is in the house, buried deeper in my purse than I thought, in the seat, chair between, it will ring and I'll hear it. Now if I left it in the car or something, I'll say, oh, now it's not in the house, so start looking for it. But you set this up ahead of time, and it dials your phone.
I need that for my keys.
Do you have to set up like this to, in case, because it happens few times with me. I left the phone someplace in the house and got buried under the pillow or something, and I didn't see it and I couldn't find it.
If you've got a house phone, you can dial it, but I don't have a house phone. Or if you're with somebody else who has a phone, then they can call your number, and then it'll show, you can see where it is.
So if you tell the group, Alexa to find my phone, it'll tell you?
It dials it.
Oh, it dials?
Dials it, yeah. That's what I was trying to show.
What's the difference? I mean, a few years ago, the big one became,
Yeah.
now they are smaller one like.
Well, the big one has a lot better speakers.
You can still get that.
You can
That's
still
that's
buy
the
those.
original Echo. These are dots. These are dots. They're small dots.
He has one in between.
Yeah, I saw
Pardon me?
That's a
Oh, the
tap.
tap. Yeah, that's the Echo tap.
His
That's,
is in between. Why don't you speak on yours, Richard? How it's different.
So the difference is the speakers?
pardon me? The difference is mostly the speakers. Yes.
Been trying to connect to the internet, and this one's, it actually sounds pretty good. It has a bass to it that you keep plugged in, and you just set it on top of the bass when you're done with it. And then say like you wanna go out in the patio and have some wine, you say, some music, just take it with you, and put it out there and just turn it on. It runs by the wireless network in your home. So it connects to that and your app.
You want to show it
via
on the camera here?
Bluetooth, huh?
He wants you to show it on the camera.
Oh. All right.
That's fine.
We're pretending we're.
Yeah. This is,
So this is the tap,
There it is.
and it charges ahead of time on that little base, and then it gives you portability with it.
Yeah, it's really, really convenient. We use it a lot, and it operates just like the rest of them, just like all of them. It does the same things, but it's very convenient because you can take it. We take it when we have a grandson over, and we'll ask it to play, baby lullabies and stuff like that, and just sit it in a corner, real quiet, and the baby sleeps, or ambient sound, stuff like that. Huh?
Baby Shark.
oh, jeez.
Yeah. Or we really use it most out on the patio when we're having some wine.
I'll mention this one too.
So-
This is an accessory, a third-party accessory that has a charger, and you plug it in the wall,
For the original
and you
Echo.
set your tall
The Echo.
Echo, first generation on this one, and it charges, and then you take it off the charger, and it doesn't have to be plugged in for the next couple hours, right, Doug?
No, that's the battery. So if you don't have that,
Oh, it has to be on the
Yeah,
battery all the time.
That goes with the Echo, but
Okay.
it doesn't. The charger doesn't have to be plugged into this. This goes with the Echo, but
Okay.
you charge this.
Okay,
7-8 hours of play outside,
Okay.
out in the patio.
but you got to keep it on the base.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is the power.
Okay. There there are accessories out there. Actually, I'm on a waiting list to get one called the Amazon Auto.
Oh,
Sandy, is there a name on that? Is that an Amazon makes that battery, or is that?
It is third party. Probably.
smart. Smatry.
Not a smart tree?
No.
Smatry. S-M-A
I guess it's a
tree.
It's a combination of smart battery, Smatry.
Smatry. The Amazon Auto that I have on request has to work with your smartphone. So you mount it in your car, plug it into your smartphone somehow for the wirelessness, the internet of it, and then you plug it into whatever outlet you have in your car, like
So your
Cigarette
cell
lighter.
phone needs to have a data plan.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's no
I
go.
believe so.
Well, yeah. I mean, otherwise, you can't get internet.
They're only letting them out a little at a time. People have gotten on a waiting list, and they're sending them out in small groups probably so they can troubleshoot them and all the calls come in. But one thing they said they did put a lot of effort into this car one was extra microphones so that it could hear you over the sounds in the car, engine and motor, whatever sounds in the car. That made it difficult at first for you to hear. And then otherwise you're driving along and say, Alexa, what's weather? Alexa, what's the directions? Alexa, what's the capital of Alaska? Whatever you want to ask it. You can ask it to help you with exercise, and it'll do lead you through a workout. It'll lead you through push-ups. You got to do them. It'll just talk you through it.
Does she know if you're actually
Maybe the lookout will. Now the lookout, this show here will do video calls. If the person I'm calling has one of these, we can see each other as we talk. You've seen commercials for some of those. So that, but I don't know anybody with one on the other end, so I haven't done that. I have made a voice call on it.
What about Amazon Fire.
Amazon Fire?
You can tell it to.
Call on
Sorry,
Facebook.
I'm not sure.
You can tell your Amazon Fire. You can tell your Fire Stick to tune into a particular show. Yes.
Here's one that says, I use Alexa to clean the cat box. It does not work, but I keep trying. I thought, well, he had a good sense of humor. Mickey set it up for a friend, Donna, because I was over there, and she's sitting there, and all of a sudden her Alexa goes, it's time to get up and walk. She's supposed to walk for, 5 or 10 minutes at least every hour. So Mickey set up the reminder, and every hour it comes on and say, time to get up and walk, and she did. Excuse me. And she got up and walked.
It's on a schedule. It doesn't do it in the middle of the night. No.
Let me see what else we had. One, I got a kick out of some of this. It says, how do you talk to Alexa? Do you talk to her, they're asking this question, in full sentences or just the command and so on? And someone here says, I figure things will go well for me when the world is run by robot overlords if I'm nice to my Alexa. Apparently, he liked my reasoning and started talking nicer to his. He says, the first time I talk to it, I use a full sentence. The second time I say the command, I talk in robot speak. And the third time I just yell, lights off! And this one says, he wants a minimal reaction, so he never tries to talk very long to it. But someone else says, I always say please and thank you. And I know somebody in a demo I was watching on YouTube would tell it, shut up, to stop it. And that, to me, that sounded so harsh. I said I couldn't say that. But I guess it works. I just say, stop what you're doing. Here's one. He said, I have full conversations with Alexa. I say, Alexa, put cucumbers on the shopping list. And Alexa says, putting cumber bands on the shopping list. And I say, no, Alexa, not that.
I'm not sure
And,
about that.
and Alexa says, putting not that on the shopping list. And then I say, seriously?
The serious one goes on.
It says, when I go and look at my shopping list, it's so filled with random stuff that it doesn't even exist.
Makes you laugh.
But you laugh, you get a laugh out of it.
Does
And
it have a function like delete all the history of this?
yes, through the web page, if you go to your Amazon web page, you can go and see your history. I know one fellow said his young daughter and her friends were in a room with an Alexa, and he went back later to look what they were asking her. And he said it was hilarious and a little concerning. But they didn't know they could be checked up on.
The contents of the computer file itself, which is usually a text file
I swore at
containing
it a couple
hypertext written in
times, it says I don't
HTML or
understand.
Yeah.
comparable markup language.
There's a number of these funny commands that'll get a funny response. That
Mutual knowledge or practice.
Here's where we
There are
talk.
many different kinds of fellowships which are awarded for different reasons in academia and industry. These often indicate
Alexa,
a different
or
level of scholarship.
Amazon,
One has a night
cancel.
canceling.
so this is some of our discussion, I guess.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
what
it
we
is.
just. So,
You can go and clear that out if you.
yeah, I mean, all these check boxes are places where you can check to clear those out. But this is what we've heard today. Here's where we asked it to play WJR, and here's where we asked it to play White Christmas, and here's where you talk to it.
Indie songs, yeah.
Yep. So,
My young grandsons like to do things like Axel, play Poopy Pants. And sometimes she finds a song that fits on it, but
So you have to go on internet.
you go on the webpage. You go into your Amazon account.
your Alexa account,
Your Amazon account.
yeah,
You
Yeah, I
can
got
just
both
directly tell right here.
I don't believe so. It
What?
was- you can't tell Alexa delete everything
No.
you've been hearing.
No.
Cover your ears.
Cover your ears.
But as you saw, the history, it was just her commands.
Right.
It wasn't our conversation,
Right.
okay? It was just the commands.
But
But what?
I don't know, it may sound funny, but I saw one of the TV program.
Okay, what did you see? A
husband
TV program. A TV program.
Fiction.
A TV program.
No, it was different. It was different.
Oh, it was a radio program. Okay.
No, you don't get it. She's
All right.
watching these crime
I
shows,
don't
real true crime shows.
Believe what you want.
No, I know.
That's
what-
all I can say.
I'm not
Believe what you
saying-
want.
I'm
If
not
you don't
saying
want
it's
something that you
true.
think
I'm
is
not saying
intrusive,
it-
then
how
don't
it
give it.
works.
Okay, one
All
at a
I'm
time.
saying is in the crime scene.
Yeah, it makes you wonder
Okay.
when you see something like
The
that.
husband was in the house. She had somebody who was.
That's why I cannot get my brothers to take a DNA test, and I need the male.
Well, that's a different story.
I need the male DNA for my
I talked
genealogy.
my brother Jim into doing it. I just have to catch him.
Well, my brothers don't want to. I said, just don't go murder anybody, and they won't find you. I mean.
No, there's a problem with the DNA test because they're not. There's no laws or anything that say what they can do with it. They can sell that information now.
You have to insurance.
Oh well, they
Right.
I know, but they
There's
do.
no law that says they can't.
But
change that.
they do promise you when you
Yeah.
sign in that
Promises,
they won't.
promises, right?
I know.
Yeah. But anyway, we digress.
But that's another subject.
right. We digress. Okay.
Oh, the other light bulb. Where's the other light bulb?
All right. Well, let's see here. If we're gonna do light bulbs, let's show. So you've got your own light bulbs, and I've got mine on there.
Yeah.
Let's move this over, and let's
This
see.
is our lamp. So just pretend each of these are a lamp.
They are like.
This one is a
Smart.
smart bulb. It's a wireless. They also make a Bluetooth version. This is the wireless one, and this is just a regular bulb, but the plug, the white plug here is smart. So you have to get the bulb keyed in with your Alexa or the plug or in the plug, and then it will do things.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
So you want to tell yours? to
Let
turn
me
on?
see if I'll try mine. Computer,
I'm
turn.
having trouble connecting. I'll keep trying.
All right, I'll do mine.
Do yours.
Alexa, turn on test.
Okay.
And then
I named my plug test. So
for the sake of
Turn it off.
Alexa, turn off test.
Okay.
and mine is
And you can see on the app, it tells you, you know, I can also do it on the app. I can just, you know, go, if I'm home or whatever, if I'm, you know, when I was traveling, I did this, I went on my app and I just turned on the kitchen lights, you know, every now and then and simulate I was
Somebody
there.
think
So-
he was home?
So I'm on my phone doing this, and it's on.
or you can
So
set
I'm
your
on my phone and turn
lights
it off.
to come on as you're
Yeah, you-
pulling in the driveway, so you're not going into a dark
Or you
house
can set
or
them on a
something.
schedule.
Or a schedule. Once you've got these kind of plugs and so on, let me try this again. Computer,
I'm having trouble connecting. I'll keep trying.
what about my other one? What's my other one? Amazon. Amazon, turn on light.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right
Did I
now.
lose my,
No, she said understand. Amazon,
she'll say that sometimes when she,
turn on light.
Sorry,
Huh.
I'm having trouble understanding right now.
Amazon,
Please try a little later.
Amazon,
I
are
think
you
that-
on the internet?
Your hotspot?
I'm checking
Sorry, I'm
Did
having
you get a
trouble
dead hotspot?
understanding right now. Please try a little
I just
later.
turned it off and on,
Oh,
so it's got to cycle through.
'cause mine has been on pretty good.
He's got a better one than I.
Uh-huh.
But this one turns colors, which to me I've only found as a novelty. Once you've played around with changing colors, then what do you do? But the practical turning lights off and on in a room I like.
If you're colorblind, it helps.
Perhaps. Nancy?
I'm not sure I understand. You actually have to have those light bulbs going
Yes.
on?
This is a special light bulb that does the colors.
This light bulb is Wi-Fi enabled. This plug is Wi-Fi enabled. You can buy either or, right? She bought a bulb that's Wi-Fi enabled. You can plug in any regular screw-in outlet.
You have to have one?
No, you don't have to have any of
The
this
Wi-Fi
stuff.
can
It's
come
fun.
through the device itself has its own Wi-Fi. You don't need the light bulb.
The light bulb itself has Wi-Fi built in.
No, I'm asking, do you need the light bulb to make
Yes.
to make the device work?
What device?
Whatever
The light bulb is the device.
Oh,
No, she means, do you have to have the special bulb to ask Alexa to turn it on?
No.
You can ask Alexa to turn on anything you want, but she won't do it unless it's connected.
If it's plugged into a plug.
No.
Okay.
You plug the regular lamp.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
again, this plug
I
is
get it.
Wi-Fi enabled. So whatever you plug into this plug, lamp, coffee pot, whatever, as long as it's rated, you know, for the amperage,
Right,
will turn on or off.
yeah, I understand.
This light bulb
It's different.
is only a light bulb that is connected through Wi-Fi.
Right,
Okay?
yeah.
Where do you buy those at?
Are you online anywhere? You can buy them at
Online.
Walmart, Home Depot.
Well, yeah, the Home.
Color too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has different colors.
The
Is
Home
this the
Depot
Philips
has a
Hue?
lot more and more of it.
Is this the Philips Hue?
No.
Okay.
Some of them require a hub. But
Yeah, I wouldn't want
yeah, I
to
didn't
have the
either.
hub.
Computer.
I'm having trouble connecting. I'll keep trying.
Huh.
Ask the light. Do you have to have Alexa in this light bulb?
Richard or Dennis, did you have a question? Yeah, no, I showed the one here.
We don't have anybody who has them and a device available.
I was going to connect my daughters to show and compare and go back and forth, but I would have had to have her phone. Have
Technical
the app.
difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Because it has to work with the app on her phone because that's how she set it up, and I didn't want to have to install the app and get all her.
Does the Google work right now? I mean, can you ask it to tell
The
Joe-
Google's not even plugged in.
No, we couldn't plug it in because we can't get it on the wireless because I don't have
Well, this
her app.
Wasn't the one, no, I mean, wasn't Nikki asking that one to do things?
No.
No, that was Alexa. Alexa, tell me a
Alexa
joke.
is what I meant to say. Can you
Oh.
tell a joke?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you call a hobbit wearing a gold chain?
I give up.
Lord of the Blings.
Yeah,
Lord of the Blings.
I like that. That's pretty good.
To meow like a cat.
Hey Alexa, meow like a cat.
Well, I'm gonna take you home so PK can have something
Oh,
to
my,
meow
my
at.
cat, when we did that, my cat just stood there and looked at it like he was gonna pounce on it.
This one plays the game that I think it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it gives you A, B, C, D, E, or whatever.
Can you
You
try
get points.
pick a number and tell it to divide it by 0? I wanna see what
See.
happens.
Oh,
See if it helps.
All right, let's see here. So what
Computer.
else?
Oh, that's not working. Yeah, some of those number things, she'll either have a smart answer or she'll do pi out to.
Yeah.
infinity?
What the-
Well,
no.
I don't know how far.
What the-
Dennis.
One device we haven't talked about is the Facebook, the portals.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We,
This one will do some of that if you both have that, but yeah, the ones they advertise so heavily.
What I like about it is the camera. The
Yeah.
camera does follow you, and my wife loves it. My
So you have it in your house and at your
grandchild lives in
Oh.
Columbus,
Okay.
and so we talk almost.
Okay,
every
just like on the
morning.
commercial. Yeah.
The baby is walking now, a toddler, and
Already?
she knows, she goes up and she calls us every morning
Oh.
on the portal.
Oh, that's so
And then
cool.
we sit we walk around the room, or she crawls around and walks.
Now, does it do other things like what we've been showing,
It can, it's,
other than the voice connection?
yeah, and we do the video all the time.
All the time. So it's like Skype on your phone, or not Skype, FaceTime on your
As
phone.
long as you have FaceTime
Or Escape.
too,
It works with
phone.
FaceTime?
Yeah, you can call anybody on your cell phone.
Okay.
You can call.
Those were intriguing. I like that, and especially,
Hook the Twitter so you see what the president's doing?
No,
oh my God.
no, I just love the camera, because it keeps you, you know, if you walk, you have to go.
That's one thing. This one,
the room follows you.
the Google one, somewhat similar to this, does not have a camera at all. This one has a camera that
oh,
you
so
can
that's
do.
just a display.
Yeah, this is just a display.
Computer, are you online? Are you online?
What is it you call yours?
She's got all different. Oh. Where did you- oh, she's got all different
Oh,
names.
the one Dennis was talking about, it's the Facebook portal.
Uh-huh.
Portal.
Facebook.
Facebook. They do a lot of commercials on TV for
Yeah.
it where
Your grandpa's
they're moving
calling.
around the kitchen and talking
I haven't seen
casually
that
with
one.
the.
My wife loves it. Ours
Yeah.
are about the big one for us.
Ooh.
It's
That big.
This way, then you can turn it
Okay.
horizontal. Depending
So
on
do you
what
need
can-
two, like one to send the picture and one to receive, or?
You just need anybody that has a cell phone too. I
Okay.
bought one as their Christmas present.
Okay, so
They got the bigger, I mean, not the big one that I got, they got one that's like your computer, but it's bigger than that. And but it's got the camera that.
I think those would be nice if you had family that you wanted to really connect easily and quickly to.
I just know the toddler plays with it a lot.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to talk to her about stuff.
I was in the grocery store and I ran into a niece and her 1.5-year-old or 2-year-old was in the cart with a phone looking at it, and she's talking to her father in Florida while her mother's pushing her in the grocery cart through the store, and to the little girl, this was life, you know?
Yeah.
That's what.
I like Alexa at night you have her play the rainstorm.
Oh,
or
the
something,
ambient
the
sounds.
soft noise or whatever.
There's lots and lots of those
I'm not sure.
you can choose to play quietly in the room for white noise.
White noise.
And then it'll play for a while. You can put it on loop You can set a timer with it, I believe, even to say, keep
That's white
going.
noise.
Turn it up a little, is it all the way up? Or
It is, the dots are small, so.
Just as what you were just.
Alexa, cancel.
Yeah, I've got a very good copy.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not always available to be there, we go away on the weekend, so I just tell, I call mine Echo. Echo play bird song,
Ah,
bird music song.
does she respond to it?
Yeah, but it gives her something to listen to.
Yeah.
All day long, it's just little tweets and bird sounds.
That's
all
cute.
day long, you know, volume turn down, but gives her, so she don't go nuts.
I've always left a radio on when I'm not at home, and then I remember the year I suddenly realized I can hardly tune in my stations anymore, and you can't buy a radio at the store easily, and migrated over to some of these things, but I tend to turn on music when I leave. So I said I'm keeping the dog company and telling a burglar, don't come in, there's somebody here listening to the music.
And sometimes we'll leave our TV on when we're gonna, you know, like Eddie will leave it on, he went to bed, he left the TV on. So that when I come in the house.
Oh, you have something.
I have something, somebody will think, cause his truck's back there, so they're gonna think somebody's home.
Richard, did you have?
Yeah, when you set these things up, it comes with an app. You use your cell phone for your house, your smartphone to set them up.
Or tablet.
And, or tab. And there's a whole myriad of things that you can, that it
That's
will run
right.
you through and suggest that you do with it. So it gives you all kinds of ideas and things to do with this that you may not think of. And additionally, if you sign up for it, it'll send you what's new with Alexa every week. So new skills are being added all the time. So that's kind of, I kind of look forward to it. Say, oh, look at this, I'll try this now. So it's really a wonderful tool to use to make life easy. Really.
Yeah,
But the app is just really a good app. Really.
and then it points out the new skills, because
Yeah.
skills are a mini program that will work just by saying, start using it, really.
Let's do Alexa. Enable cat skills. Cat facts.
I found a few matches. Do you mean believe it or not cat facts, catbot, or cat facts?
Cat facts.
Okay, here's cat facts. Here's your cat fact. In households in the UK and USA, there are more cats kept as pets than dogs. At least 35% of households with cats have 2 or more cats. By the way, you can unlock hundreds more cat facts with Cat Facts Premium.
No, thank you.
The first time I've heard that.
Here's your cat fact.
Goes the way of everything.
In 1947, when Edward Lowe asked his neighbor to try a dried, granulated clay used to sop up grease spills in factories. In 1990, Mr. Lowe sold his business for $200 million.
Inventing cat litter.
Yeah.
We like to find out a movie star's age. You'll see something on TV. Oh, how old is Jane Fonda? You know,
Yeah.
and she's pretty old. You know, ask her how old Jane Fonda is.
Alexa, how old is Jane Fonda?
Jane Fonda is 81 years old. She was born on December 21st, 1937. Other customers have also asked, how old is Lily Tomlin? Would you like to know the answer?
Yes.
Lily Tomlin is 79 years old.
Young chicken.
She was born on September 1st, 1939.
Thank you.
Jane Fonda had a television show on Netflix, I think.
That's what it's with. She's with Lily Tomlin in it.
Jane Fonda's 81.
Yeah.
The other one was, Lily Tomlin.
I mean, will that thing search birth records?
I don't think so.
Because it would draw from
Alexa,
national.
when was Michael Nickman born? Oh, it's not even an answer. Hey, Alexa, when was Michael Nickman born?
I could do it about that.
Duff McKagan was born on February 1964.
Is that you?
No.
No.
Duff
Anyway, I
McKagan
think
or
it does.
something.
I think it kind of keeps you company.
Yeah.
You know, I live alone, and I've got one in every house. Well, let me try the. Oh, it doesn't work everywhere. I have the 4 devices in the different rooms, and I can say play pop music everywhere, and then she'll say playing pop music on your everywhere network, and they're all simultaneously playing.
See, this is the speaker group we're talking about, and this is my everywhere. I've got the different speakers checked off. There's been some issues with setting up speaker groups where not always will it add more devices to the speaker group. I tried to set up a speaker group with these two, so I went to, come on. My phone's having a slow day. So I went to add group. Oops, go back. Come on. Try it on here. My phone's slowing down. Oh, it's down to 71%.
Computer. What time is it? Trying to see if she's on.
It's 7:44 p.m.
Wow.
Computer. Turn light on. Oh wait, is that what I called it?
Yeah.
Yay.
Computer, turn light red.
Show it down here.
Computer, turn light yellow. Oh, we're in your way.
No, you're. Sorry, my meeting just ended.
We're almost done. And you can make it blink and fade and 50% light or dark and so on, but it does what it does, and then okay, I've seen it.
Sorry.
What?
Hey, listen, if you had that adapter and the white,
Yeah.
would those lights go on? If you had another Wi-Fi adapter, where the white thing is, would those lights go on?
Yeah, she said before that she has hers set up in a group, all her little plugs for lights, so she can just say lights on and they all go on. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can set these up for groups. I don't have mine set up that way. I want to control mine individually, but yeah, you can do that. You can make groups.
How much power do they use, like in the off position?
I don't know.
Like 5 watts?
I haven't noticed any increase in my electric bill, so
Computer off.
I mean it does, you know, because they're on the Wi-Fi network, so they do take up some power.
Computer
but-
lights off. Computer. Stop. Computer, turn light off.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
There was at the website for this make of this bulb, there was a thing about using it with Halloween. And then they also go into using it with music. You know how they take a song and make it
Each note has a different color.
yeah, but not in this setup, it won't, but they make some of that. Shall we show
So
our
for the
video?
lazy band, do you have anything set up for TVs?
You know,
Well, what do you mean by TV?
turning it off and
Turn it
on.
on, switch it to channel 253.
The only thing you can do is control your Fire Stick with it.
Oh.
Because
Now
it talks.
they just added
Well, it ain't
this
too damn
week a
smart,
Roku.
then,
If you have a Roku,
Well, what do
you
you-
can make the Roku work with it somehow. And I started to play with that, and
It does do Roku as well.
just this week, I think.
Okay, but that's still it's a wireless device you're talking to. It's not a TV because a TV needs to have that its own input.
Yeah, they say the way TVs power up and power on is
Oh yeah, especially if you try
is
and use the
different than
powers
if you just.
because they're always on. TVs are always on.
That was
they're,
it.
They're they're sleeping in the background. If
And
you
it made it
actu-
hard to just have
Right.
it plugged in and.
Right. If you
Well,
cut
it'd
the
be
power
nice
off
and-
of them.
And then there's a Amazon Cube. No, the
What are we, yeah. What
Fire Cube or something.
Oh, right.
And
right.
it costs almost $100, but that would do off, on, and volume. Any questions before we show you one little video?
Well, actually, we
Oh.
didn't talk about.
What did we show?
Well, we didn't show the links. We didn't show.
Oh yeah, in our presentation. Oh, and I like that one.
Okay. What happened to my? Oh, there it is. I'll just see you down here.
Remember how to get to the
Go to
presentation links
LCCUG.com and
from our webpage?
down. Where's my cursor? Oh, way over here. Over here, presentation web links. Click on that, and I put a whole bunch of links for this meeting.
You the
Sure.
teacher that teaches in here?
Yes, he is.
What's all the Steeler things?
They're gonna add class to the room. So.
Okay.
There you go.
You know, you heard that one about the Steelers fans coming into Cleveland, the Pittsburgh game, and they saw a sign said Cleveland left, so they turned around and went home.
Anyone have fans there? Notice the color of the wall.
Where was the one that
Had to do it.
I like that?
Well, your three were down here. Can't see my cursor. Oh, there's. These are the ones you asked me about before. Echo versus Google, call someone, Alexa skills and updates, music on your Alexa.
Alexa Bible or something?
I don't remember you saying about that.
I can find it on my email real quick here. Something else.
Okay, well.
There's since we couldn't demonstrate the Google version today, if you go on YouTube and do compare Google Home and Alexa Exo, you get lots of comparisons.
we got Echo versus Google Home right here.
One of those is a comparison table that might be useful if you're thinking, because what they're
and
saying
there's a video about it.
People are either getting in the Google camp or the Amazon camp, and Siri is coming along if you're Apple oriented, and they want as many people to come in and commit to one of those.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
So that's why they'll have sales, start buying my product, because then you'll always be
Stuck with my product.
stuck with your product.
Although the dots and the home minis are, $20 around that each price, and it's easy enough to get into either or both with that price point.
Simpler if they just merge the two together and come up with a.
Yeah,
That would be too
that'll really
easy.
happen.
Yeah, just like
There-
the Android and the.
As far as looking for deals for stuff, there's a guy that's on CNET.com, calls himself the Cheapskate. He also has a Facebook page,
I thought that was your site.
and but he has deals all the time, and we'll talk about different things like that. Now you can hook your router to this, or your fire to this, and back and forth, and deals on different technical things.
Alexa.bio.command.
Yeah, that's there.
Is that or maybe I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't recognize it.
CNET.com.
Yeah, show that.
He's called the Cheapskate.
Let's see here. Ambient. What did you call it? Commands. Here it is, right here. No, that's Commando. From Alexa.bio.
Okay. Oh. This one under the.
Yeah.
This is one I want to point out to you. I thought would be useful. If you go to this website, alexa.bio/commands, they break down commands based in these categories here, like games, alarms, and you can see audiobooks. It hooks up with
Audible.
if you have an Audible account. It'll play your Audible book, audiobook, and stop and start where you are and resume and everything. And podcasts, it's good in podcasts, but it'll only play the most recent podcast. It won't start you with season 2, number 1 or something. But if you go to the site and then if you scroll up a little where it's
Up.
yeah.
It's
down? Up here. This is kind of strange things more.
Oh.
They got home, news, commands, guide, devices, and they have news clips all related to these digital assistants. and a lot of good information there. And I thought that was worth pointing out.
Are they connected with particular brands of news or?
It seemed to be pretty everywhere. Anything. This is a Saturday Night Live skit. Some of you may have seen.
Yeah,
That's perfect, isn't it?
Okay, any other,
Yeah.
any other questions or comments before we
Any other questions?
shut it down and
If you have
So-
more, if you want to play the same song toward the house, how do you connect to both of them?
well, that's where we talked about the speaker groups. Right now, here's my speaker group called Everywhere, and I've put multiple dots on there. I've got my living room dot, my kitchen dot, the bedroom dot, and the bathroom dot on there, and they're all, if I tell it to play everywhere, then it
Yeah,
plays
my
on all
house
those
is set
speakers.
up to respond to everywhere. If I say, play Christmas music everywhere,
But you have to have those units in every room.
Right.
To-
those are the ones it's talking to.
I need a unit in every room to get it to be.
Yeah. Of course, you
What-
could.
If you wanna hear it throughout.
Well, you need more than one to have a group,
I know that.
right?
I know that.
Okay.
Here and carry it around with you.
Yeah, you get the portable
Well,
one,
then you
sure.
don't need a group. You just
Yeah,
need to
right,
tell
yeah,
it
yeah.
to start singing.
Battery pack.
Yeah, right, yeah, there you go. Wear a backpack and all that kind of stuff.
What happens when the two of your everywheres get together?
Well, there aren't.
You know, they got to be on your network in your
Yeah.
house, set up for your things.
Well, they have to be on the same network. Right.
Yeah, the same network. Because like when we're trying to move things to the hotspot, I had to change my phone to the hotspot.
Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah, I'll be glad when I can set these
Yeah, I'll
back
be
to
glad
my
to
home.
get everything back home and plugged in the way it was.
Right.
But they're always adding new skills, new features, updating them.
And
so
one of the I think one of the sites I put talked about your own. Oh, I think it was my list. The one that says compiled by LCCUG officers. That's a list I put together. It talks about building your own blueprints. How can I create my own skills? Go to blueprints.amazon.com and it will tell you how you can create your own skills.
you make a skill, and then you
Yeah.
can publish the skill. You can actually ask her, you know, what can you do?
Oh yeah, Alexa, what can you do?
There's a lot I can help you with. You can ask me things like, what's my flash briefing? Read my Audible book, or recommend a news podcast. Do you want to hear more?
No, that's good, thank you.
At Christmas, they had some specials that you only could get
Podcast. What's
by
next
ordering
month's
it
update?
through the Echo.
Or check my email. There's more. Just ask.
They had special pricing on some items, so I would have to go and say, Alexa, what are your
Oh,
specials?
right.
And then she'd say, such and such, do you want that?
Sorry,
And I'd
I'm
say,
not sure about that.
I'd say no, and then she'd accept. Then she'd give one that I did want, and I'd say, yes, I want that. And she says, do you want me to put it in your shopping cart? And I said, okay, because that's a good price, yes.
Yeah, sometimes Amazon will
That's
put
to promote you to start using that.
they'll put out specials that you can only order from Alexa. So
So hopefully you'll be convinced to start buying, thinking of it in terms of shopping.
Is there a nomenclature to talk about the programs that run these? I mean, like you've got Android phone and you've got iPhone, which are two different families. Is Amazon's a certain name versus Google's?
Digital
yeah, that's them.
assistant.
Well, Amazon and Google, those are the
yeah,
companies.
and
Those are
they're in
the,
the category of digital assistants.
right, but the families would be Amazon versus Google. That's why.
Amazon doesn't have any other place in technology. They don't have their own phones or anything, right?
I don't think so.
What did they
Doesn't
get?
make you
Google
wonder.
Pixel? or something?
Yeah, Google has their own.
Oh, Google. That was
has all
Google.
their own
Right.
stuff,
Yeah, Google.
And
It's hard to keep track of who's.
operating systems of their own, other than that.
Google has Chrome.
Right, but and Android, but no, Amazon doesn't have a published.
I always have to stop and think which
Yeah.
one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know.
exactly. I'm trying to kind of compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you
yeah.
just say Google versus Amazon because
But there
And
are
then-
other names too.
not necessarily.
Well, Apple's trying to get
digital
in,
assistant wise, yes.
There are
I
other.
mean, we
Apple's
just
trying
talked
to
about the Facebook portal and
Oh,
and what else did you say? You were Apple
the
trying
Apple
to get the
Siri type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all different hardware.
You know,
Right.
I read an article that says, starting this year, they're going to have 5G,
Yeah.
and that's a really big deal. And
Well, we haven't gotten
it
4G.
takes new hardware
right.
on the poles or wherever they run the things, and that's going to change how we do a lot of this stuff. And AI, this is artificial intelligence, it's going to really take off and leave us back with the silver Amazon while it's happening full speed ahead. So that was interesting to hear how that's coming at us really fast. 5G. And these things are all being built to take advantage of it.
And us.
And us.
So next month you'll be giving us some stock names.
Yes, he has talked about investments in stocks, but next month it's going to be apps to keep track of all this on your phone. Maybe they'll help us. Yeah, ask it, say, what's a good investment?
There's 18 warm bodies in here, there's only 16 check marks.
Okay.
Did everybody check their name off so we can